Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Anime Theory, where, well, people are gonna be mad that I did anything on this series. Well, too late. By the way, this theory spoils the premise of Sao and may contain minor spoilers. It's nothing that could ruin your experience with Sword Art Online, but I figured I'd warn you anyways. Watch it if you want to, but you've been warned. Anyways, how about we get to today's topic, Sword Art Online. Now, before you ask, yes, I realize that this anime is extremely divisive. Most of the internet seems bent on making this anime out to be the worst thing in anime. I'm sorry, but it's not, regardless whether you like it or not. There are many worse things than Sao, trust me. Heck, I actually didn't mind it. Sure, it had some stupid moments, and Kiritos is a bit of a plank of wood, but by the same point, I also enjoyed parts of it. Asuna is really awesome, the story could be really interesting when it focused on how the game affected the people in it, and you know what, I really liked the first opening. It always sounded so cool, and man, there are so many good covers of it. Oh great, I just said good things about Sao on the internet. Well, too bad. If you don't agree and don't like Sao, that's fine. There are things called opinions, and everybody has them if you didn't know. I only ask that you guys debate respectfully like adults in the comment section. There's a legitimately interesting conversation to come from this. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. Now, for those of you who don't know Sao's main premise, the anime has a VR MMORPG that is called, well, Sword Art Online. To participate, the players must use a piece of technology called the Nervegear. In a basic sense, it allows the user to be transported into the game almost literally. It can interact with your five senses to simulate reality in a video game. Now, much discussion has been made about this type of technology and whether it is possible. I mean, who doesn't want to be put into a fantasy world where you'll be inevitably beat by some 14-year-old with much more time than you? Well, after this video, not many, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's dig right in. Now, first of all, yes, VR exists. The Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR, and possibly more to come, are actual VR products. And I've actually gotten to try it out. It's pretty interesting, but there were some issues I'll get into in a second. First of all though, these things can only cover 2 of the 5 senses on their own, and that's pretty much stretching it. The audio isn't particularly hard because headphones have existed for years, but problems come in when sight is brought into the equation. Now to be fair, the visual fidelity of the Oculus Rift and the PlayStation VR are impressive, but don't actually even begin to compare with our actual eyes. Seriously speaking, it's not even in the same ballpark, and I know it from experience. Things are much more blurry and can't even begin to mimic the actual feeling of real sight without some issues. Though props for being able to cause real nausea, I guess? Anyways, we're only talking about a display as well, which can't even compare to Sao's Nervegear, which actually simulates real sight by directly connecting with your brain. To be fair, we now have technology that can connect directly with your brain to simulate sight. Things like the bionic eye allow people to actually see without a real human eye. The only problem is that the resolution is even worse than the Oculus Rift. Now trust me, I'm not knocking this technology because this can really help people, but comparing it to the Nervegear, it makes the idea of getting surgery to see things in a video game not as worthwhile. Let's go farther than that though. Right now, there's virtually no studying going on how to simulate the human taste and smell senses, which is literally 40% of the Nervegear's importance. There's just no way to make a good way of sensing this stuff without, I don't know, eating food and having some weird scent attachment on the Oculus Rift while you play with massive headphones. It might remind you that you're still using controllers too, so you can't exactly simulate the same amount of movement as an Sao. The only thing this would do is make you look absolutely ridiculous. Now you might say, why don't we just plug directly into our brain? Wouldn't that work? First of all, is that really worth playing a game for? The answer is no. Second, that won't work particularly well. Typically, things plug directly into the brain or forced out directly by the brain. So no matter what, that's not gonna work. We have partially invasive technology, but its uses are negligible compared to the Nervegear. Heck, the stuff that isn't plugged into your head in some way barely works at all. In essence, our skull blocks out the signals a little too well, so that, for the moment being, isn't a possibility. And the biggest problem is that there's just not a good way of sending that much data to the brain. Now sure, we have technology like the human brain interface that can directly take data from the brain and has done some pretty interesting stuff like let monkeys control robot arms or view what cats were seeing, but that's receiving data, not sending it. There's not any technology that gets even close to what the Nervegear can do. So no matter what, the technology we have right now is not even close to an SAO type experience. Now by 2022, it's more possible, but considering the lack of progress and the relatively small amount of time, that is not a definite idea. It's not impossible, but the outlook of real-life Nervegears being sold by 2022 is pretty low. Let's go a step further though. Even if we had an exact version of the Nervegear right now, would we want to use it? Some might say yes, but that's not exactly a great idea. Let's look at the technology. This thing in essence has a microwave literally built right into it. Even if the creator doesn't decide that dying in the game causes a real-life death, the chances of it malfunctioning are kind of a problem. But it's not like we have technology with the habit of breaking. Also, speaking of breaking, imagine if the thing malfunctioned while connected to your brain. Either you'd die or you'd never be able to wake up at all. Or it would take a considerable amount of time for you to wake up. Your body would be virtually destroyed after 2 years of being stuck in SAO. Does that sound like it's worth it to you? Because it shouldn't. This tech would be dangerous regardless of whether we had it or not. So needless to say, it's not a good idea. So in the end, though it sounds cool to be able to join in on a real-life game of SAO, it's just not possible. With the current technology and the lack of research going into several aspects of this machine, it's unlikely that we'll ever be able to emulate the world of SAO, at least for the time being. And honestly, even if we could, it would be far too dangerous to try it out. Just enjoy your PlayStation VR, because it's much safer and much less likely to boil your brain. In the end though, this is just my crazy theory. This one was requested by a lot, and I mean a lot of people. So I am really happy to finally give this to you guys. If you have any suggestions, tell me in the comment section below. Trust me, I'm reading every single suggestion and taking them into account. By the way, I'd like to highlight 3 different pieces of art I've gotten from fans. The first one is from Sick Puppy LOL and makes me look like a tsundere, and it's just so amazing. The second is made by Dingy and it makes me look like some kind of special Hollywood actor, and honestly I really like this drawing as well. The final one was made by OK Marty, and honestly I'm just happy because that's me and Megune, who, if you don't know, yeah, she's mine. But seriously though, I really do like this drawing, and honestly I have like a pile of fan art that I'm going to be showing off, so get ready because there's going to be a lot in the next several episodes. And hey, if you have any fan art to send it to me through Twitter and I'll show it off in a video, or I'll use it in some way or something. Trust me, I think this stuff's really cool, so if you have any, show it to me.
Present day. Present time.
Hey everybody, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I mean, hey, why don't you check out my other videos? I got other theories. I've got like this last one I did on Shelter, which I mean was more of an explanation, but whatever. And if you don't want to watch that one, why don't you check out my theory on Haruhi, because that was pretty cool. And hey, I got a Twitter. You can follow that Twitter. I say a bunch of random stuff about videos and then other things. So hey, if you want to follow that, go follow that. It's pretty cool. And hey, why don't you check out this awesome cover of the Sao opening? I know that like some people don't like Sao, but whatever. Speaking of which, yes, I'm still glad I did this video. I know there's gonna be a lot of dislikes because that's just how this works, but I'll deal with it because it's Sao and people wanted it, so here you go. And next time, we're going to Serial Experiments Lane, so I hope you're excited about that. And there's not really much else to say besides see you later.